Today, we're diving into one of the names of God in Islam that is just packed with meaning, Al-Jabbar. It's a name that has these incredible layers, from overwhelming power to the most gentle compassion. It's really fascinating, so let's get into it.
So right out of the gate, the most common translation you'll hear is the Compeller. And yeah, that sounds pretty intense, doesn't it? It kind of brings up ideas of force. So that's the big question we're going to unpack. Is this name really just about irresistible power, or is there something deeper going on here?
All right, first things first, let's tackle that primary meaning head-on. We're talking about supreme power and authority that is, well, completely and utterly irresistible. So the classical definition tells us that Al-Jabbar is the one who subjects all of creation to his will. The two key ideas to hold on to here are overpowering and irresistible authority. This isn't a kind of power you can argue with or negotiate around. It's just an absolute fact of existence.
Now, to help us get our heads around this huge concept, scholars came up with this brilliant analogy. They would use the phrase Jabbār al-Nakhl to talk about a palm tree that was just so incredibly tall that there was no way any human could ever reach its fruit. It's a perfect picture of what it means to be supremely high, totally transcendent, and just completely beyond our grasp.
And you can see this irresistible will play out again and again in different accounts from history. Think about Pharaoh. He sets out to destroy an entire generation of baby boys, and what happens? He ends up raising Moses, the very person who would lead to his downfall, right in his own palace. Or what about King Nimrod? He challenges Abraham about who really controls life and death, but he's completely silenced by a simple challenge. Okay, then make the sun rise from the west. And of course, Joseph's brothers. Their whole plot was to get rid of him, but their actions were the exact thing that put him on the path to becoming a ruler in Egypt. You see the pattern here. Every single time, human schemes are just completely overwhelmed by the divine plan. Okay, but this is where it gets really interesting. When you take that exact same word Jabbār and you apply it to a person, the meaning just completely flips on its head. It goes from being an attribute of perfection to a serious, serious flaw. The difference is just night and day. On the one hand, a human Jabbār is arrogant, oppressive, violent, someone with a heart totally empty of mercy. But on the other side, the divine Al-Jabbar is supreme, just, and the ultimate source of all mercy. In fact, he's the one who restores the rights of others. So when a human tries to be a Jabbār, it's just a broken, ugly imitation of a perfect divine quality.
And that brings us to the second layer of this name, which really deepens our whole understanding, because that same root word that means overwhelming power also holds an almost opposite meaning, a meaning of healing, of compassion, of restoration.
The root word is Jabbār, and in classical Arabic, this is literally the word you would use for setting a broken bone. Just think about that. It means to mend what's fractured, to give wealth to the poor, to restore what's been lost or broken. It's amazing, right? This one word shifts the whole feeling from overwhelming might to this gentle, healing mercy.
So how does Al-Jabbar act as the restorer? Well, he mends the hearts of the oppressed by promising them justice. He restores people who've suffered a great loss with blessings and guidance. When someone repents, he mends that spiritual break by accepting them back. And he restores the hearts of orphans by commanding all of us to show them kindness and care.
So how can these two things, the Compeller and the Restorer, exist in one name? How can supreme power and gentle healing be two sides of the same coin? Well, this is where it all comes together beautifully. You see, scholars have explained that the name Al-Jabbar actually holds three meanings, and they're all completely interconnected.
Here it is. Al-Jabbar is the compeller who can subdue any tyrant with his power. He's also the mender who heals the weak and the brokenhearted. And he's the exalted who is high above everything, just like that palm tree we talked about. See? The meanings don't fight with each other. They actually complete the picture.
And that really gets us to the core idea here. True perfect power isn't just about forcing your will on others. It has to include the compassion and the ability to restore what's broken. One without the other is incomplete. Okay, so this is all great, but what does it actually mean for us? What's the big takeaway from understanding this incredibly complex and beautiful name? Well, understanding Al-Jabbar should create a kind of balance inside of us. On one side, it gives you this sense of awe, even a healthy fear of God's absolute power. But on the other side, it gives you this profound hope, a deep trust that He can mend whatever is broken in your life. And both of those feelings together, they lead to humility. They make you realize that this kind of ultimate power belongs to God and God alone.
This sacred hadith just drives that point home so powerfully. God says that grandeur and majesty are His, like His clothing. For any human to try and claim those things for themselves through arrogance and tyranny is like trying to steal God's clothes. It's a direct challenge, and it's why it's so severely condemned.
I think this quote just perfectly sums up the beautiful duality we've been talking about. He is the compeller of every broken heart and the subduer of every tyrant. Just listen to that balance. His immense power is a source of comfort for those who are broken, and at the exact same time, it's a source of dread for the arrogant and the tyrannical.
So in the end, the name Al-Jabbār teaches us that real strength isn't one-dimensional. It's a powerful combination of might and mercy, the power to overcome anything, but also the compassion to heal anything. If you want to dive even deeper, we've put a link to the full source material for you in the description. And that leaves us with one final question to think about. What does true strength really mean to you?